Always tracking, always alerting. Here's your Storm Track 15 weather.
Okay, it is 5:45, and if you're just tuning in, happy Monday. We've got a lot to talk about in the weather world.
Boy, especially our friend Beryl.
Yes.
Adam, how are things looking over there?
Well, you know, this morning, if you're in Houston, not a great morning because it is a very rough situation there with gusty winds, very heavy rain. And remember, just a few months ago, you had the derecho that rolled through with 100-mile-an-hour winds that blew out all the windows in downtown Houston. And now you got a hurricane headed your way. And this is Hurricane Beryl. 80-mile-an-hour winds, pressure 979. We are lucky that this didn't have any more time over water, or we would have seen a major hurricane making landfall. It got its act together right as it came ashore just a little while ago. And you can see the extremely heavy rain associated with this on satellite, those bright colorations. But notice how they kind of fade away now. That tells you that it's getting that land interaction. Well, a lot of these clouds are starting to spread eastward towards us here in Acadiana. But the rain is staying back to our west in Texas. Now you'll see that there's this big yellow box in place for the Houston metro area. That is a tornado watch. And we are going to have to monitor even locally for some potential spin-up tornadoes. This is a look at radar out of the Houston area, and you can see that very intense rainfall associated with these outer bands of Beryl. Now, you have Lake Jackson, which is about right in here. This is just to the west of Lake Jackson, and Beryl's going to kind of come up and skirt the western side of Houston. Katy, Texas, probably going to get the eye of this thing if it's still a hurricane by that point in time. But this is moving so slow that one of the big problems is going to be flooding. But we're also seeing those coastal impacts too. Even here, Cameron Parish, Vermilion Parish, Iberia, St. Mary, you could see some coastal flooding from those persistent southerly winds that are in place from this. Some big storms out to our west that are rotating in towards Beryl, and you know, these are the ones that we're going to have to monitor for the potential of a spin-up tornado. This one not looking as impressive as it was. It's now just becoming some heavier rain and some gustier winds. That'll head up towards Lake Charles here from Cameron Parish. But beyond that, we're not really expecting a whole lot out there. In fact, this morning, not going to be tracking much on radar, which is kind of a surprise considering that we have a hurricane not that far away from us. But oftentimes you get the subsidence, that descending air that kind of dries out the atmosphere far away from the center of circulation. But through the day today, we are going to see some of those big rain bands build up for the afternoon, evening, and overnight time frame as Beryl moves off to our north. Now you can see those in place here through midnight and then waking up on your Tuesday morning. I think it turns into kind of a wet start to the day. And then Tuesday itself could actually see the heaviest of that rain moving on through. And that would mainly be during the morning time frame. We'll still monitor for the potential of flooding with that, but it is going to be something I don't think we see too much of as this system works its way on off. I got to show you this. Our Queen City of the Tash Cameron New Iberia, atop the Community First Bank building. Rarely do we get to see sunrises like this purplish color, but that typically is indicative of a tropical system nearby, and that's what we have. You can see our temperatures are currently in the 70s and lower 80s. Dog walking forecast for the day today. Lucky, I wish I had some better news for you, but oh boy, we are seeing those temperatures here getting to around 90 degrees. And I do want to show you that we have some gustier winds here into the afternoon hours, getting into the 30s. So be mindful that there are going to be those gusty winds 30 to 35 miles an hour. Going forward, some heavier rain bouts continue through the next few days. And then later on this week, we get back to a more summer-like pattern. Alex and Scott.